Walking tall, from global beauty queen to Botswana's youngest minister. Shortly after being crowned as Miss World Africa in 2024, Lesego Chombo was appointed as the youngest minister to serve in Botswana. As the Minister of Youth and Gender Affairs of Botswana, she's a passionate advocate for gender equality and youth empowerment. She has been at the forefront of driving policies that foster inclusivity and create opportunities for young people and women across Botswana. Her leadership continues to inspire positive change in the areas of education, economic participation, and social well-being.
In 2017, I decided to consciously and actively work towards one of my greatest dreams, and that was to be Miss World. And so in 2017, I started working towards being Miss Botswana. At the time, I was at the University of Botswana pursuing my Bachelor of Laws degree. And I completed my degree in 2020 and practiced law for a few years, following which I then pursued my dream. I was crowned Miss Botswana 2022. Now in these 5 years, thank you. In these 5 years of preparing to be Miss Botswana, it wasn't business as usual and it wasn't beauty as usual. I had to be very intentional about growing, developing in knowledge, in skills, building discipline, crafting my skills to perfection. But most importantly, defining what impact looks like for me. And impact looked like what I love so much, and this is the Genesis Project. This is a program that I authored, which is aimed at creating a conducive environment for children living in poverty. It runs 2 programs, one for parents, which equips them with the necessary skills and behavioral attributes to create a conducive environment for their children, despite having limited financial means. And the other, which is my favorite one, because I love me some boobas and some small babies, it is aimed at exposing these children to what this typical conducive environment is. This remains one of my proudest projects and one of my favorite things about the life that I lead. Now fast forward. It is February, March 2024, and I get to represent my country at Miss World in India. I got to see my country united by how I shared my culture, how I shared the love for my beautiful Botswana. And it is there that I placed top 4 at Miss World and was crowned Miss World Africa. I got back from Miss World, shattered because I knew I'm just meant to be Miss World. I had no eyes on anything else but Miss World. So I went back to Botswana and I thought, am I gonna go back to legal practice? I didn't. Instead, I ventured into digital marketing and worked as a brand ambassador for various renowned organizations, including Botswana, which is our mining company in Botswana. 8 months post my return from Miss World, I got one of the most interesting calls. And this was a call to be specially elected Member of Parliament and Minister of Youth. But let me give you a more detailed background in who I am. As you can tell from what I already mentioned, I do not believe in putting myself in a box. Over and above being an attorney, a beauty queen, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a singer, I'm a guitarist, a philanthropist, and a creative at heart. And so 8 months from being Miss World Africa, I get a call, and it says, we would like to elect you specially elected Member of Parliament. And I said, why? Boldly, I asked the current Vice President of Botswana, and I said, why? And I said to him, if you want me in this role, you must know that I will apply myself as me and that I will not be a political pawn. His response was, the very fact that a young person like yourself, who has represented our country so beautifully on a global stage, who has been committed to serving underprivileged communities, who has worked hard to have educational achievements, the very fact that a person like you, who has remained an inspiration for so many of our young people, the fact that you can think it needs to be a political stunt for you to have a seat at the table is exactly what is wrong with our world. And I said, give me the paper. Let me sign. And so, ladies and gentlemen, a day later, I was elected, specially elected member of parliament, and a week later, Minister of Youth and Gender Affairs. I am what my president calls his wild card. He said, as I elect my specially elected members of parliament, I need one of them to be a wild card, and this wild card needs to be young and female. This is to show you that when you are diligent at whatever it is that you do, when the time comes, there will be room for you in places you never imagined. Now, as you can imagine, my mandate as Minister of Youth and Gender Affairs is quite a heavy one. I am charged with the holistic development of young people, and I intend to ensure that we have young people who are developed cognitively, emotionally, physically, socially, financially, and to create room for young people from all walks of life. Gone are the days where we'll have a one-size-fits-all for our beautiful, diverse young people. Secondly, I am charged with a mandate of promoting not gender equality, but gender equity, ensuring that there is room for women in leadership, ladies, ensuring that we are fighting and that we will win the scourge of gender-based violence in our continent. But most importantly, ensuring that marginalized communities, those who don't get to come to Forbes, those who don't have network, who don't have resources, who don't have phones, those who are struggling to find their last meal, a meal to help them survive the day, those are the people that I actively advocate for. And you can imagine it is quite a heavy mandate, and I can tell you for sure it is. But there are certain principles that I abide by which have saved me for these 4 months, but also for pretty much all my life. The first one, I've already mentioned it, diligence. I believe in doing what you do so well, committing to prepare, committing to do it with excellence. I repeat, ladies, when we do this, it opens doors in places we never would have imagined. 2, purpose. I believe in doing everything that adds value. I'm a Jesus girl, and hallelujah, hallelujah. And I believe that God has divinely created each and every one of us to add value everywhere we are. And so in everything that we do, we ought to realize and really assess what kind of value are we adding. It needs to be tangible value that changes the lives of so many people around us. And my favorite principle in season, courage. Courage. The ability to be bold about my thoughts, my opinion, my perspective, my vision, my work, my love for my community, for my country, for my Africa. The courage to show up no matter the circumstances, the courage to venture into the unknown as I am already doing, and do it gracefully, boldly, knowing that it is me who was put in that place and I was put there for a reason. And ladies, I am glad to know that I'm standing here amongst women who are also courageous to show up as themselves. Now, as a young leader, I must tell you, it comes with a lot of resistance. It comes with a lot of, why her? It comes with a lot of, she's so young, she's only 26. But we all need to remember that people's perceptions are not an authority in our lives. People's perceptions are not an authority in our lives, and people's perceptions are not our reality. And that is a truth that I walk in. But I also walk in this truth knowing that I carry the aspirations of so many young people that I must, not may, that I must succeed so that the world can see that young people are equipped and competent and capable, and that women are the true backbone of our society at all levels. And succeed, we must. Succeed, we shall. And as we lead, in closing, I would like to urge us to lead and embrace our femininity. To embrace that we are nurturing, to embrace that we are vulnerable, that we know how to make use of little and make the most out of it, that we are sensitive, that we are emotional beings. Why should we put it aside when we get to lead? Ladies, Africa is ready, and Africa deserves to have us lead. Now, in closing, allow me to say this because I find it to be very fun. My name is Lesego Chombo, Minister of Youth and Gender Affairs, Specially Elected Member of Parliament, Attorney at Law, founder of the Lesego Chombo Foundation, reigning Miss World Africa, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, creative at heart, and I am a proud African woman.